Jonathan.
Yes.
Good morning to all of you. So, starting with the topic, in yesterday's class, we have discussed about the impairment in our signals, and while discussing on the point, we have covered some topics that are the reasons for this impairment, like attenuation, like distortion, and like noise. And for that, we have done some numerical problems on the attenuation also. Right, so the formula for attenuation calculations, we have done those particular type of things. Now coming to the next part, today we are going to talk on the topic related with continuation of the signal. We are going to talk on a topic that is a very important with respect to signal. While we are talking about signal, with respect to signal, this is a very important part, that is SNR. SNR, the full form of this SNR is signal to noise ratio. So while we are in a signal, while a signal is passing by or transmitted through a transmission medium, noises are also present. Maybe the number or the amount of noise is much or it is very less, right? But a noise is there. Comparing to that, the noise and the relation between the signal, this term SNR, signal to noise ratio, is a part or important part in the signal or noise calculation. So this SNR is actually a unit we can talk about. This SNR is actually a unit. So this SNR, this unit, actually what we are talking about. What is this SNR? So while data is transmitting in the form of a signal, this SNR is helping us to find, this SNR is calculating what? Calculating the bit rate, or we can say that whatever the theoretical calculative bit rate limit, that is the unit of SNR, or this is the SNR. This SNR is helping us to find the bit rate limit or calculating the bit rate limit. So how much bit can be transferred through the medium while a noise is present or not? This calculation is done with help of this SNR, signal to noise ratio, the unit that is calculating the bit rate limit. So how to calculate this SNR? If we are talking about the calculation for the SNR, right? So if I am writing SNR, so what can be the calculation for this, right? So this SNR is nothing but the average signal power. This SNR is nothing but the average signal power with respect to average noise, with respect to average noise. So average signal power with respect to average noise power that is present on the transmission medium. So SNR, how we can calculate this SNR? Average signal power with respect to this average noise power. So in term of the definition, SNR, we can say that what is SNR? It is nothing just the ratio of the signal, or what is the wanted signal with respect to this what is not wanted there. What is not wanted means what is the unwanted thing present in our signal, that is the noise. Noise is what? The unwanted thing present in our signal. So SNR is the ratio of what is the wanted or what is the signal power with respect to the unwanted, that is the noise power. Now this SNR have two values. Values means while we are calculating the attenuation in our last previous classes, we have find two things, that if the attenuation value is positive, then this happen, and if the attenuation value is negative, then this happen, right? Similar to that, if SNR, in SNR also there are two possibilities. What are the two possibilities? One, that is SNR can be high. If SNR value is high, then what happens? If SNR value is high, then what happens? And if SNR value is low, then what happens? So if the SNR value is high, so a high SNR means the signal is very less corrupted or very less noise is present. So if the SNR value is high, then we can say the signal is less affected with the noise. We can say that if SNR value is high, then the signal is less affected with the noise. And second one, if SNR value is low, then what happens? Then what will be the result? If SNR value is high, the signal is less affected with the noise. So if SNR value is low, then what will happen? Then what we can say? Anyone?
The signal is more
affected with
the
noise.
Right. So if signal is SNR value is low, then the signal is more affected with the noise, right? So these are the two conditions with respect to SNR. If the SNR value is high, the signal is less affected, and if the SNR value is low, the signal is more affected with noise, more affected with noise. So this SNR, the signal to noise ratio, we have in previous class, in the last class, we have talked about the dB. The formula of dB, we have known that 10 log 10 by P1 by P2, that is the formula. Now this SNR have a similar kind of formula to calculate the value, So this SNR is represented as a decibel units, means the dB again comes into the scenario. Then what will be the we can say the equation What is the equation on which we can talk about? What by which we can find the SNR? By which we can find the SNR, right? So the equation for calculating this SNR, that is SNR. Okay, SNR. There will be a unit that is decibel. So SNR dB equal to, I will start total things first. Let's complete 10 log base 10, actually 10 log base 10 with respective SNR. So 10 log base 10 means I have to write it here. 10 log base 10, and here is the thing that is called dB. So SNR dB equal to 10 log 10 of SNR. 10 log SNR base 10 here. This is the equation by which we can calculate the value of the SNR, or signal to noise ratio. So again, I am repeating that what is an SNR? That is the if we are going through the normal definition, this SNR is actually the ratio of the wanted things, that is the signal, with respect to the unwanted things present, that is the noise. So these have two values. One, it is a high value, so it means that the signal is less affected with the noise, and if it is low value, then the signal is much affected with the noise. And how we can calculate that? That is the 10 log SNR with the respect to base 10. Right now, are you? I hope that all of you are ready with the copy and the pen, as I've instructed in the group that stayed with the copy, because in SNR we are also going to do some numerical problems. So first question for first numerical problem that we are going to solve today. I hope all of you are ready. So if you are already, kindly respond so that I can tell you the problem.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So my question, the numerical problem that we are going to solve, that is, write the problem. The power of a signal. The power of a signal is 10 megawatt. The power of a signal is 10 megawatt, right? And the power of the noise is 1 microwatt, or we can say microwatt, or the noise power of the signal, actually the noise power is 1 mu w. Okay, I can't write mu, right? Okay, I have to write it. So just a minute. So 1 micro unit, right? Microwatt, actually. So what are the value of SNR and SNR dB? So what are the values for SNR and SNR dB? We need to find two values here. One is SNR and second one is SNR dB. So these two values we need to find out here. Now, how we can find the value of SNR? How we can calculate the value of SNR? Anyone? What is the formula for the SNR?
Average
And
signal power
average
divided
signal
by
power by
average
average.
Noise power, right?
Sir,
So average signal power by average noise power, that is the formula, or the calculative formula for SNR. So we have the two values already. The signal power that is given as 10 megawatt, and the noise that is given as 1 microwatt, right? So we need to just calculate, just put the values in the SNR. But one thing we need to do here, that the unit conversion. What we need to do here, that is to unit conversion. So the signal, the power of the signal, that is 10 megawatt, that is a higher unit. So we are going to convert that higher unit to the lower unit, right? So first we will write the value, that what is the SNR. So we can calculate the value of SNR by simply putting that SNR equal to What are the two values? First one is as 10 megawatt and second one is given as 1 mu watt. Okay, actually, okay, just a minute. So these two things are given. Now what we need to do, we just need to do a unit conversion of the higher values and just need to calculate that. So we are going to change this 10 megawatt to the lower value, that is a microwatt. So what is the value is going to change? That is 10 megawatt is equal to, just a minute, 10,000 microwatt and given by it is 1 microwatt. So this unit conversion, after the things, that unit will be cancelled out each other. So what is remain present, that is the value, that is 10,000. So what is the value of SNR? That is 10,000. So while this SNR is a ratio of two values, so it don't have any kind of unit. While we are calculating any type of ratio, we all know that it is the basic mathematics that we have learned in our class 11 and 12, that if we are calculating any ratios, then there will be no unit actually. So this SNR, the value of the SNR is only 10,000. So what is the value for the SNR? That is 10,000. Now coming to the second part, that is our SNR dB. So what is the formula for SNR dB? What is the formula for SNR dB?
10 log base 10 SNR.
So 10 log SNR with the respect to base 10. Now we have the value of SNR, right? We have already have the value of this SNR, that is 10,000. Now just put the value of 10,000 to that SNR. So what will be the equation? 10 log 10,000 and the base will be 10. Now what will be the calculative value for this answer? What will be the answer? Tell me.
40.
10,000.
So what will be the answer? Someone is saying 10,000, someone is saying 40.
40.
40. Okay. How many are agreeing with the 40?
40, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, 40.
So, right, most of them are telling us 40 and the answer is 40. So it is a very basic, simple calculation for the logarithm, that this 10,000 will be converted as a 10 of whole, and then it is actually 10 to the power 4, and then 4, that's 10 log 10 with respect to base 10, that is log 10 value 1, and 4 into 10, that is 40. So a simple logarithmic calculation and the value is 40. So what I want to explain here is that if this type of numerical problems comes into your exam while giving the values of the power of a signal and power of a noise, and if we need to calculate this SNR and SNR dB, so these are the simplest way, the simple by putting the values into the formula. What we need to keep in mind, that the unit, all the units needs to be same, otherwise the calculative result is not correct. So we need to check the units, and for SNR, after the calculation of the SNR, there will be no unit. And while calculating the SNR dB, just put the values in the SNR and we have our result. So this is how we can calculate the SNR and SNR dB in a power or in the signal, power of a signal, right? Any doubts in this? Anyone, any doubt? Fine. So if no one have any type of doubt, then so I am not going to do much numericals on this, because it is a very easy one, and only this type of patterns of the numericals comes into the scenario. Okay, so not doing much in it. I will give you some assignment, home assignment later on after covering much topic. Then you people will practice it in your own, right? So next, I'm talking about the thing that this data limit in SNR, we have just heard a term, that is a bit rate limit. So with respect to the bit rate limits, mean the data, how much data can be transferred through the transmission medium, right? So this, how much data we can transfer through the transmission medium, is actually depending upon some factors. This data rate limits on a transmission medium, data rate limits on a transmission medium actually depends upon three factors we can talk about. So what are the three factors? First one we can talk about, the first factor is bandwidth. So bandwidth allocation or bandwidth availability. Bandwidth availability is the better term. Bandwidth availability is the better term we can talk about. So bandwidth availability is the term that we can talk about. So this is an one factor. Second one we can talk, that is the level of the signal. So signal level. And third one we can talk about, that is the noise, the quality of the channel. Quality of the channel means how much the channel is noise affected or it is not noise affected, right? So quality of the channel. So these three are the factors that on which the data rate limit through a transmission medium is actually depending. Bandwidth availability, signals levels, and the quality of the channel. These are the three factors. Now, talking about these three factors, the bandwidth availability, if you are talking about that, how much bandwidth means, if you just, if anyone have any type of broadband connections available in their home, or broadband, if anyone have seen any type of plans of broadband, then we can see that for the different packages, means whatever the package we choose for us, the speed availability, bandwidth availability is mentioned. That is for some 40 kbps, for some 1 mbps, for some 100 mbps, for some 75 mbps. This bandwidth allocation is availability. So this is mentioned as a term of bandwidth available through a transmission medium. So this bandwidth availability through a transmission medium means, if I am connected with a LAN network, this LAN through from the ISP, internet service provider, they are actually provider who are providing the services to my home. They have set up a LAN connection, right? And depending on my package, what I choose, the bandwidth is allocated. If I'm choosing a 590 package, right? So maybe I'm getting a 75 Mbps speed. If I'm choosing 850 package, then it is maybe giving me 100 Mbps. So these are the scenarios for different packages, different type of bandwidth allocation is available. So this, depending upon that bandwidth availability, the data rate depends. Second one, levels of the signals. Different levels, the signals are actually introduced, some analog, digital, this type of different type of signals are present. So that also depending factor for the data rate limit. Third one, the quality of the channel, that is the noise, how much noise is present or how much less noisy the channel is. Now, to measure that, to talk on that, there are two formula actually we can talk about. Two theoretical formulas actually it is for the calculation of the data rates for the quality of the channel. So to calculate theoretical formulas there is present to calculate the quality of the channel. So what are the things actually present? If I'm talking about first one, just a minute. Okay, so first one, if the quality of the channel I'm talking about, if the channel is noiseless, so we are considering a channel that is totally noiseless. So to calculate a noiseless channel, for noiseless channel, whether it is not totally possible the channel is noisy, but we are assuming that the channel can be noiseless, there is no noise present in our channel. So to calculate the data rate limit, to calculate the data rate limit in a noiseless channel, we have a formula that is known as Nyquist theorem, that is known as Nyquist theorem. So this is for the noiseless channel. Remember, this is for the noiseless channel. And coming to the second part, that is for a noisy channel. If I'm talking about a noisy channel, then there is another formula that is helping us to calculate the data rate limit for the noiseless channel, that is known as Shannon theorem. So I think you people have heard these two terms, Nyquist theorem and Shannon theorem in previous second, third semester, where you have studied this basic electrical, electronics, this type of whether this is present or not. I think it is present, or you will have heard the term Nyquist theorem and Shannon theorem. These two theorem is used to calculate the data rate limit, one for the noiseless channel and second for the noisy channel. Now, coming to the first part of the noiseless channel, that is the Nyquist theorem. So, this Nyquist theorem or the Nyquist formula, we can talk about the Nyquist bit rate actually. There is some equation or mathematical expression given for this calculation of this Nyquist bit rate for a noiseless channel. So, this Nyquist theorem is nothing but, suppose we are sending a signal. Signal is transmitting through a medium. This Nyquist theorem state that if the signal, a periodic signal is going on, it must be sampled more than twice the highest frequency component of the signal. So twice the highest frequency, that is the highest frequency can be available at highest bandwidth. Whatever the bandwidth allocation is available at that highest bandwidth, we can have the highest frequency of the signal. So that must be sampled twice the highest frequency. So that signal must be sampled with the twice of the highest frequency component of the signal. It is just a theorem of Nyquist, a theoretical theorem actually, and totally for the noiseless channel. So Nyquist theorem consider that the channel is not affected at all by any kind of noise. So without the noise, the data or the thing is going to transmit. So as there is no noise present, we can achieve the full bandwidth that is assumed here, right? So this Nyquist formula, if we write the expression of this Nyquist formula, then how we can achieve that bit rate? So for this Nyquist theorem, the mathematical expression for calculating the bit rate, we can talk about, that is 2 into. So the double, we can talk about 2 into highest frequency, and highest frequency can be achieved at the bandwidth. So 2 into bandwidth into log L. So log L with the base 2, log L with the base 2, log L with respect to base 2. So this is the formula for this Nyquist theorem that is given here. So this Nyquist theorem giving this formula, that is bit rate and 2 into bandwidth into log L base 2. So now this, what are the terms? Bit rate, bandwidth, log L. Bandwidth, we can understand that what is the bandwidth? The bandwidth of the channel. So if we are talking about the bandwidth, so it means that bandwidth of the channel. Fine, right? And bit rate, we need to calculate the bit rate of the channel. So what is the bit rate of the channel? Now what is this L? L is actually the levels of the signals. I have already told that there are 3 factors depending this data limit depend. So this L is the level of the signals or signal level, the signal level that is depending. So these are the terms for this Nyquist theorem we can talk about, and this is the part that is Nyquist theorem giving this for following equation: bit rate equal to 2 into bandwidth with respect to log L base 2. Now by this formula, by this Nyquist theorem formula, what we can say that if the signal levels, the number of the signal levels, that is the L, numbers of the signal levels gets increased, the bit rate also be increased. So these are the approximation from this Nyquist theorem that if the signal level L is actually increasing, if the numbers of signal levels is actually increasing, then the bit rate can be increased. The bit rate also can be increased. Now the thing is, as I said, totally noiseless channel is not at all important, not at all achievable. All the channel there must have some noise. I have already told you people. Means this Nyquist theorem is totally a theoretical part. It is not, it cannot be actually practically achievable, because in practical, if we are going to achieve this, we cannot. Why? Because there is a limit. What is the limit? Because all the channels at least have a noise, at least minimum percentage have noise must be present in the channel. So this Nyquist theorem is totally we can say totally a theoretical theorem. This Nyquist theorem is totally a theoretical assumed theorem. But if this theoretical assumed theorem, why then, if it is not actually practically achievable, then why we are talking about this? So with explanation for this, if we just go back for the physics classes of class 9, 10, 11, 12, we have studied many type of laws or theorems in our chemistry part regarding the neutrons, protons, the Avogadro, and before that, there are several scientist theorems that is actually not partially correct, right? But still, we studied those theorem. Why? Because that incorrect theorem, that actually not fully correct theorem, is giving us the idea or the challenge for the next part to achieve something new, right? So from this Nyquist theorem for this noiseless channel, as this noiseless channel is not practically achievable, then Shannon comes to the next part with the theorem for the noisy channel. So Shannon theorem is for the noisy channel, by which we can calculate the noise or the bit rate of a noisy channel, right? And Shannon theorem is always considering that the channel is always noisy. In practical, we cannot have a noiseless channel, so all the channel is noisy. So Shannon theorem is actually considering for the noise channel. And what is the formula for Shannon theorem is that? So Shannon is saying, just a minute, capacity. The expression for the Shannon theorem is capacity equal to the bandwidth into log 2 log with base 2 1 plus SNR. So this is the formula given by the Shannon theorem for a noise channel, not a noiseless channel, it is a noise channel. So for noise channel, capacity equal to bandwidth into log 2 1 plus SNR, and this formula is given by, or this is the formula for the Shannon theorem for a noise channel. Shannon theorem for a noise channel. So Nyquist theorem is considered as the noiseless channel that is not practically achievable, but Shannon theorem for a noise channel, it is achievable, and the formula for to calculate the data bit rate in a noise channel, capacity equal to bandwidth into log 2 1 plus SNR. So how to calculate the SNR? We already studied that. Signal to noise ratio, how to calculate it, bandwidth we know, capacity we know. So this formula is actually much way better, or this theorem is much way better for calculating any type of bit rate or the capacity of a channel, right? Now there are some numerical problems with respect to Nyquist theorem and with respect to Shannon's theorem, but we are not going to do that today. We are going to do that in tomorrow's class, because there are 4 to 5 numerical problems that we need to do, but we cannot do all the things today. But starting with only one, we are going to do one problem today from the Nyquist theorem, and rest we will be done in tomorrow's classes, right? So write down the first problem regarding the Nyquist theorem, that is, consider a noiseless channel. Consider a noiseless channel with a bandwidth of 3000 Hz. Consider a noiseless channel with a bandwidth of 3000 Hz transmitting a signal with signal level of 2. With signal level of 2. So signal level of 2 and the bandwidth is 3000 Hz. So what can be the maximum bit rate? We need to find the maximum bit rate. We need to find the maximum bit rate. So as the channel is noiseless, what is the channel? I have already mentioned that the channel is a noiseless channel. So what theorem we are going to use here? That is the Nyquist theorem. So what is the formula for the Nyquist theorem? 2 into bandwidth into log L. So we have all the information already. What is the bandwidth present here? What is the bandwidth present here?
3000 Hz.
3000
3000
Hz.
Hz.
And what is the level of signal?
2.
2. Just put the values in the Nyquist theorem. That is 2 into, so what is the bandwidth? 2 into 3000 into log, what is the level? That is log 2 and with the base of 2, log 2 with respect to base of 2. So what will be the available value, or what can be the maximum bit rate we can have in the result? What is the maximum bit rate?
6000 Hz.
Not hertz, we are calculating the bit rate. So what can be the unit for the bit rate?
Sir, beats per second.
Bits per second, correct. So the answer will be 6000 bps, bits per second. We are calculating the bit rate. Remember what is the thing we are calculating and what for what, and that what will be the unit for that particular result. Okay, so hertz is for the bandwidth. We are not calculating any type of bandwidth. We are calculating the bit rate. So the bit rate is 6000 bits per second. So the information, what these numerical problems do come in your exam, considering 2 marks or 3 marks, right? And if you just solve it, the full marks of is calculated, full marks is for yours, right? So these problems, just we need to understand that what is the things given and what is the formula. Just put the values into the formula, the answer is ready, right? So very easy, very simple numerical problems are there, but what we need to do, that we need to remember the formula for the calculation, right? So this is up to today. We are going to talk, or we have discussed, because time is going to end very soon. We will continue the numerical. We will start with the numerical again for the Nyquist and Shannon in tomorrow's class. So if anyone have any kind of doubt, then do tell me or ask me if you have any query regarding this. Whatever we have discussed today, if you have any doubts, you can tell me or ask me. I hope all of you have written down your names in the chat box. There is another class from 11:30, that is the Linux programming. We are going to meet there also. So if you people have any doubt regarding today's topic of data communication, you people can tell me so that it can be solved. And as the time is going to end, so the link can be disconnected automatically at any time. So before that, I would like to thank you all for joining in the session and be patient or listening what we have discussed today. So thank you all for joining into the session.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we are going to meet again from 11:30 in Linux programming class. So thank you again, and we are meeting soon.